Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You are tuned in to episode 22 of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking, hosted by yours truly, your one and only host that does the most. It is moi, it is me, it is she. She is Twinkle. Call me Twinkle, call me Antoinette. As long as you're calling my name, that is really all that matters to me. Yeah, if this is your first time joining us, thank you so much for giving this a try. And go back, try all the other episodes. I promise they're great. And for returning family members, yeah, thank you for the support. But anywho, there is a lot that we have to talk about today, and I do not want to leave y'all hanging. A lot has been going on in the media, so we're going to be zooming through topics today. But just to start with a quick mood check / temp check, I am feeling relieved. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, to all the parents out there that are in my situation, thank God for summer school and summer learning programs because, Lord, all summer. Imagine if they were here all summer. Anyways, I said all that to say that today was the first day of summer school. So thank God for that. Anywho, moving right along, I am going into the question of the day, which is actually pretty deep today. It's very thought-provoking. So the question of the day is, what are you more afraid of? Failure, regret, or not trying enough? Wow. Okay. I don't even think I was prepared for this answer, but out of the three, I'm not afraid of failure because at least I tried. I don't think you should live life with regrets. Everything happens for a reason. I'm going to say I am more afraid of not trying enough because what if you gave up right when you were about to take off? What if you gave up right when things were about to change? What if you just lost all faith in yourself and turned around and that next step was that leap of faith? If you would have just kept trying. So I guess I would just be afraid of not trying because that means I just didn't believe in myself enough. And I know we've all been there at some point in life, but at least you keep trying and you keep going. Okay. It's like riding a bike. You're going to fall off more than enough times until finally one day you get it and then you feel proud of yourself. Okay. So yeah, I would love to know y'all answers to that question. The question is, what are you more afraid of? Failure, regret, or not trying enough? Please send me your answers to today's question of the day to me on Instagram, DM me or comment on a picture. You can DM me at SheIsTwinkle1. Because there is only one of me and somebody else has my name. She is Twinkle, obviously. But please send me your comments to today's question. But moving right along into updates. I totally forgot. A few podcasts ago, I told y'all to pray for my dog and I never came back with an update. Okay, let me start by saying that is no different from somebody that's telling you hey, pray for me with this job interview. I pray that I get it. Please, pray for me. And you praying all hard, you believing for them. And then next thing you know, you've been working at this job for a month. You could have told me. Bruh. I just been praying for this job that you already got and you didn't update me. Anywho, going off on a tangent, but just giving you a quick update. So I did take my dog to the vet and yes, he did. He's a Yorkie and he is fine now. He ended up having a bladder infection, which I didn't know dogs could get bladder infections. So that was a new one for me. Yeah, and my experience there was rather interesting, I will say. The vet that was dealing with him, he actually was still in school technically, and he had to get, I guess, his residency hours. And so he made sure he let me know, he's officially going to become a vet in 4 days. Yeah, I'm not sure about that because I have a male dog and a male dog is different from a female dog, just like a man is different from a woman. There's an obvious difference in body parts, but he kept calling my dog a she and it was driving me nuts. And Lord, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, come by here because I was getting agitated. I kept correcting him and he kept calling my dog a she and it was driving me nuts. And then on top of that, I asked him, how do dogs get bladder infections? His response to me was, oh, well, just like humans do. A what? Excuse me, sir. What? Why would you? That makes zero sense. Do you know there are a million ways that humans can get bladder infections? That did not answer my question. After him calling my dog a she and then saying that was his answer and then giving me a bill, like a sky high bill. Like, I'm telling y'all, this bill was $147. And I was like, okay, which one of these 4 medicines does this dog not need? Because I'm not paying for this. Like, what is the mandatory medicine? Now, y'all, dog lovers out there, don't like shoot me down. Okay. But this is an animal and I love my animal, but that is a lot of money. The vet and the receptionist both looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, I did not come here to spend $147. Like, this is ridiculous. And so I guess, because of their love of pets, they're like, well, we'll just take off the exam fee and you can pay like $97 instead. I said, well, thank God for that. See, if you don't ask, you won't receive. And that's all I'm saying. I was asking, how do we lower this price? And they lowered it. But anywho, yeah, moving along to the next update. Of course, I believe it was on the last podcast, I had let you guys know about the unfortunate passing of Tina Turner. And, we had a whole discussion on that. If you didn't get to listen to that, please go back and listen. But I do have an update as far as her estate. So I'm going to say allegedly, but the industry on blast, they posted this online. So they did post that Tina Turner's husband, which she did get married after she left and divorced Ike Turner. She kept her last name, though, because she earned it with her fame. But anywho, yeah, her husband, he was, I don't know if he was from Switzerland, but he's a white male. His name is Erwin Bach. He will inherit $125 million of her $250 million net worth. Yeah, that is crazy. Lord. Okay, so just to go into further detail, it says that Tina Turner's estate is worth $250 million, and her second husband, Erwin Bach, will inherit around $125 million, while the remaining millions will be split between her adopted in-laws. Yeah, I had to read that 3 times. What are adopted in-laws? How do you have adopted in-laws? Okay, maybe it's not clicking for me. Make it make sense to me. Y'all write me. Tell me what an adopted in-law is. But whatever. They're getting the rest of those millions. Anywho, it says that Bach and Turner, they had been married for 10 years. And most importantly, he did save her life in 2017 by donating his kidney to her. So, him getting this 125 million and then her having 10 happy years of marriage. Of course, I'm sure he wished he had his wife instead, but, at least he has something that she left behind for him, and he gave her something to live for when she was here, which was his kidney. So I thought that was great news, and I love to see that just relentless love with spouses. It was unconditional and willing to literally give a piece of yourself. So anywho, that is the update on Tina Turner's estate. Now, speaking of 10-year marriages, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I do, so I'm going to. Yeah, I want to once again send a shout out to my husband, my husband. He has been on the pod several times with me. The Mr. Morgan, Whitney Morgan himself. We just recently celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary this past June 1st. And this was a different type of celebration because we celebrated together and with our kids. And they were so excited, and we're making memories. We did a family photo shoot along with a bunch of other stuff that he had planned for us for days that it was all a shock and surprise to me. So he's a sweetheart. So clap it up for him. Shout out to him. I love you. Anywho, moving right along from that. Well, actually, the night of our anniversary, we decided to, we should go ahead, get new rings. And we were able to get them sized really fast because, a lot of people do ring upgrades, right? Yeah. My ring came in, I think the next week, and I was just devastated. I don't know if this isn't normal, but honestly, when my ring came, I'm used to having a solitaire ring. So for those of you that don't know what a solitaire ring is, like you have like one diamond like right in the middle. It's not like a cluster of diamonds. So the upgraded ring was like a halo ring, which is like a cluster of diamonds, and the ring was like all in one. Like you didn't have bands and a ring. It was just all in one. Yeah, I thought I liked it when I saw it in the store, and then when it like came in real life, I felt like I was going through a breakup. Like I was sad for like 2 days. Like I didn't even want to wear it. It just didn't feel right. I felt like I was wearing a costume. It was like a cluster of diamonds rather than one diamond. And looking down at my hand, I just like felt like it was going to fall off. Like I felt like I was like betraying my ring that I had been looking at for 10 years. Yeah, call it dramatic, but like how do you part ways with something that like you've looked at on your finger for 10 years and now all of a sudden just like get rid of it and replace it with a new one that is totally different style? Yeah, I think not. So after about 2-3 days, I decided to go ahead and return that bad boy because yeah, I'm sticking with the ring I got. Okay. Anywho, yeah. Speaking of wedding news, of course, we talked about Tina Turner, we talked about myself, but there is a viral video of a wedding that has hit the TikTok streets, and I'm feeling some type of way about it. Yeah. So if you want to see the video for yourself, you'll have to search the girl's name on TikTok. Her name is Cynthia Umunzi. Now, don't go to her page because since so many people have an opinion about this wedding video of hers that she posted, she has since deleted the video, but not fast enough for people to save it to their phone. And so a bunch of people have reaction videos for this. They had said, I do. And you know, when you do like the procession back down the aisle again, so that people are now like waving at you and smiling and taking pictures because you're now Mr. and Mrs., right? Yeah, she is cheesing at the camera, waving at people. She's doing a little like dance to the music and everything. And yeah, lo and behold, you look at the groom and the groom is looking at his phone, checking texts. Excuse me, sir. Like, what are you doing? Social media went crazy over this video, and rightly so, because when I saw that, I'm like, hold on, wait. Let's think this out. Sir, why do you even have your phone? Like, aren't your friends and family at your wedding? Like, who are you expecting a text or call from? I don't understand. Like, unless you're like a doctor and you're on call, but even still, if you're a doctor and you're like on call, like you shouldn't be on call like on the day of your wedding. Like that's one day you need to put your phone away. But seriously, like he was checking, I don't know if he was checking social media. I don't know if he was checking his bank account. But when I got married, I did not have my phone on me. I did not have it like hiding in my bra. My husband, he didn't have his phone on him. Anybody we need to talk to, they're here celebrating with us. Yeah, she was still cheesing and everything. She saw him on his phone, but I guess she wasn't tripping about it. She wasn't tripping because she posted the video originally. She thought it was beautiful. And everybody is like, this man is tripping. What is more important than living in this moment right now? Yeah, I do wish him the best, but stay focused on your wife, okay? On days like that day, do not do that, all right? All right, okay. Yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. I thought it was a whoa moment. And moving right along until a new medical trend. So this is very interesting, okay? So as far as surgeries are concerned, there is a new surgery. Leg lengthening surgery is gaining popularity among men in the U.S. The recovery process of the surgery can take several months and cost thousands of dollars. However, the procedure has grown in popularity among men. So I guess it's for everybody. Like women get it as well too, but it's growing among men. Now, yeah, make this make sense to me, because how do you add length to your legs? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, y'all know the movie White Chicks with Sean and Marlon Wayans, and how they like dress up as the white girls and they go to meet the friends and they're like, oh, you guys look different. There's something different about you. What's different? And then all of a sudden, I think it was like Sean or Marlon, they were like, we got our knees done. Showing that they like got taller. Like that's the reason why they were suddenly like tall. Yeah, and the girl was like, "You can do that. You can do that. You should do that." Yeah, I love that part of the movie. I love that entire movie. But yes, there are men out here getting their legs done. Okay, I'm assuming it's the lower half, it's their calves. I don't know. I don't know if they're matching skin with other people, if they're extending bones. I don't know. But more power to you. I'm gonna stay at the 5'4" height that like God had made me at. Okay, this is where He said my destination stops as far as height, and I'm good with it, y'all. But let me know y'all thoughts on that. All right, so I had to get through all of the nice news. Okay, all of the lighthearted news and all the great updates because unfortunately there is another surgery related news that I have to report. So on May 31st of this year, 2023, fans of Wildin' Out on MTV, fans of DC Young Fly, and fans of his longtime partner / girlfriend, Miss Jackie O, we were like stunned and surprised to find out that she had passed away at the age of 32. Yeah, it was like heartbreaking. Like it was one of those moments where I was like hoping that the media got it wrong and that like it was a different person and that it was just a typo and they were going to have to come and like present an apology to the family. Yeah, that was not one of these times. She was a former Wildin' Out girl for 5 years. She was DC Young Fly's longtime girlfriend. Most importantly, she was a mother of 3. Okay, 3 very young children. I believe her oldest may be like 6 or 7, and then the other one may be like 5. And I know the youngest is 10 months old. So it just broke my heart to hear this news, and it was sudden and unexpected. And of course, like everyone on the internet was sending their condolences. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm sending condolences to her kids, her family, DC Young Fly, her friends, everybody connected. I used to watch her YouTube channel, and she had like the sweetest heart and the sweetest soul ever. And so to think that like you're here one day and gone the next, and like she is my age, it was just the scariest thing ever. So I just really feel for them. There were a lot of speculations out there as to how this sudden death occurred. Now, a lot of people have been watching her Instagram. The post has since been deleted, but she was so excited to go and get a mommy makeover, right? She was going to Miami. Now, she even had a picture posted with her surgeon, which I believe his name was Dr. Zach. He was doing the mommy makeover for her, and she was smiling in the picture with him. Now, she did not pass away during the surgery. So there was a lot of skepticism about that. The full story has come out. She didn't pass away during the surgery. She actually was found unresponsive in her hotel room in Miami that she was recovering in after the surgery. So I don't know if there just like wasn't a recovery person there with her, like watching her and helping her. It seems like that would be a lot to have to like deal with on your own. But that's where she was found unresponsive. So definitely I am so saddened by this news. Just doing my Googles, I see that a mommy makeover can include any combination of the following surgeries. So it can be a tummy tuck, a breast augmentation, a breast lift, liposuction, Brazilian butt lift, and vaginal rejuvenation surgery. And I'm sure there's a few other things you can add to the package. Now, it's not all of those things at once, but it's not just one surgery. So a mommy makeover, the purpose of a mommy makeover is to get like several different surgeries done all in one surgery. It is the idea of having that cosmetic procedure done so that you can go back to your pre-mommy body, okay? So, of course, social media goes nuts, and a lot of times they're very insensitive, and everybody has to throw their opinion out there like this is women, this is why you should love yourself, and you shouldn't go get surgery, and want. All these people that are being self-righteous and like sitting on their soapboxes. I thought that was a horrible time to do that. Now, people don't realize, like, there's a lot of reasons why people like go under the knife. When you go under the knife at any point, like, it's always a risk factor involved. I can't ridicule her. I personally, looking at her, I thought she was like beautiful on the inside out. But understanding her from another perspective, I'm a mother as well. I have my kids back to back. You think mommy makeover hasn't popped into my mind and millions of other mothers' minds around the world? Your body changes. And so for the people out here that have all these opinions and they're like, she should have just worked out and she should have did it herself. Like, she made a decision. Even when you make a decision to get pregnant and to have a baby, that is still even a risk in itself. But like, people don't criticize you for that. There's a lot of women that don't make it out of that like childbirthing labor process. And so when they do, you commend them, you pat them on the back. This was something that she felt like she earned, and she wanted to do it for her own reasons. She was also a model as well. And so I know that there could have been pressures in there with that, but it was a matter of she was doing what was going to make her feel good. And it's just really unfortunate that in that recovery process, we don't know what went wrong, but I do know that her family is grieving right now, and social media really needs to lay off. But because she was a public figure, of course, people have a lot of comments and things to say. So I'm going to start with the good, y'all. Because one thing I loved is that we knew B. Simone, which she's another comedian that is on Wild 'N Out. Now, she wasn't a Wild 'N Out girl. She was one of the comedians on stage. And now she does like stand-up comedy and she does shows. She has her own podcast. She has really blown up on social media. Well, Miss Jackie O, which her real name is Jacqueline Smith, she was actually one of B. Simone's best friends. So it hit B. Simone hard as well. So she did make an Instagram post that I thought was just beautiful, that I wanted to share a little bit of it with you guys, because she really shared some heartfelt words. And I would want one of my closest friends, like, if something happened to me, like, this is how you want people to remember you and like set you at this level of high esteem. So I'm just going to start reading. It says, God, you are a provider. Although we don't understand right now, I truly know you will provide everything her children need, her family needs, her friends need, now and forever. From peace of mind to clarity. I truly believe in the name of Jesus. I need you, Lord, and I know you are there. Even during the darkest time, I will praise you and thank you in advance for the miracles and peace that is coming. You are worthy of the praise. Thank you for allowing me to experience Jackie, and I thank you for her life, Jesus. I can't sleep tonight. Jackie, we miss you, girl. Your besties are broken. Your family is crushed, and I honestly am still in shock. I feel guilty going on with life. I've never lost anyone close to me and can't believe you are gone. I love you so much. One of the main things giving me peace right now is the fact that you were intentionally growing your relationship with God. You have always loved God, but the way you were seeking him recently was just different. Your excitement for him lately makes me tear up. It's like you knew you were going to meet him soon, so you had to be ready. Man, Jack, you live life to the fullest. You are an amazing friend, entrepreneur, and above all, a phenomenal mother. Yeah, she continues on. If you want to check that out for yourself, her Instagram is @BeSimone. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. So it's literally like me losing one of my friends, same age. It is the scariest thing ever. But it is great to know that people are able to try to heal through at this time by like seeking God, seeking like clarity and understanding, even in knowing I felt that way, like, man, like, so now I have to go on after this like close loved one has passed away. Like, what am I expected to do? Like, I feel bad. Like, and people are just going on like life is normal, but that's how the world goes. Like, I say it all the time, like, life just keeps lifing, like, it doesn't stop. But like, people have to find ways to keep going and keep moving forward. And I think that that shows strength as well, too, because it's easier to shut down and give up. But for her to choose to move forward and try to like hold on to like the goodness of their friendship and start that healing process. I'm praying for her as well. And yeah, that was a lot. But in her trying to heal, and DC Young Fly, haven't even got to him yet. Yeah, Azalea Banks, for lack of a better word, term, phrase, she's a hot mess. DC Young Fly is not Azalea Banks' favorite person. Why? I'll tell you. Well, if you've ever watched the show Wild 'N Out, Wild 'N Out is a comedy show. More importantly, it is like a roasting show. They joke on each other. They say jokes to the audience. They play games that joke on each other, but you know that's what it is. When the celebrities go on that show, they're going to have good like comedy punchlines, and they're going to have to be able to take a joke. This show has been on for literally 19 seasons. Azalea Banks, a few years ago, so it had been well over 10 seasons at that point, she went on to the show Wild 'N Out. She was not a fan of the roasting. Of course, they were going to say jokes on her. They were going to say jokes on other people. But I guess maybe she never watched the show and she should have never went on the show, so she wasn't ready. So the jokes that DC Young Fly said to her, she started to cry. They were literally jokes. They've been doing this for 19 seasons. She signed up for it. So she was very upset because of the jokes that he said. So now, in the midst of his grieving and now him having to parent 3 young children on his own, she thought this was the perfect timing to chime in on social media and literally laugh in his face and say that's what he gets and that she cursed him and this happened to him because it's karma. What? Yeah, that is sick. That is the ugliest thing one of the ugliest things I've ever seen on social media. Some people, they don't need social media. Like, you literally don't kick somebody when they're down, but you don't like laugh at somebody's grief and like you don't pour salt on the wound. Are you crazy? How can you sleep at night and do that to somebody? It was a lot, but it didn't stop there. A lot of people on the internet, they followed suit right along with Azalea Banks, and they started criticizing DC Young Fly for the heartfelt speech that he gave at Jackie's funeral. So, of course, this entire time since she's passed away, no one had heard from DC Young Fly as far as he didn't post anything on social media, which rightfully so. He had a lot to process and go through, and I'm sure he was focused on his children more than anything, more than even responding to people's texts or Instagram messages. But what was posted was his speech that he gave at her funeral. And people are criticizing him because they're saying that he gave this speech, but he made it about himself and not one tear was shed. People are also saying that he shouldn't have put jokes in there and he should have talked more about her and blah, 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 blah. I think it is absolute nonsense. I think that, for one, you can't tell people how to grieve. Everyone processes things differently. He is literally a comedian. And a lot of comedians, in interviews I've watched of different comedians, they say that laughter, for one, it is good for the soul, but a lot of the times comedians have been through a lot of tough things in life, and so they choose to laugh. They choose to look at the funny in things because it's easier to cope and move forward. And so it's almost like laughing to cover up pain or just to help themselves process it and get through it. Laughter is their medicine. Laughter is their tool. And so I don't think you can tell somebody how to grieve. You can't tell somebody that they didn't care or it wasn't heartfelt because they didn't shed a tear, because they're not there to put on a show for you or for anybody else. That was his time to give his tribute, his dedication, his acknowledgement to Jackie. That was the first time that fans had heard from him. Probably some of his own friends had heard from him. There's a lot of people that don't cry publicly. Maybe he's the type of person where behind closed doors, like he's already did his crying, or like he'll cry about it later, or like maybe he doesn't want to do that in front of his kids. His kids are there as well. There could be a million reasons, but to try to criticize and judge somebody's grief is wildly insane to me, especially when she was the mother of his 3 children and he is just as young as her. So, yeah, I actually went on YouTube and I listened to his speech, and you should definitely go and type in DC Young Fly, probably one of the first things that pop up. Yeah, I thought it was definitely a speech of strength and resilience. He, just like B. Simone, referred to the Bible a lot and how God was getting him through this and how he's not worried because he knows that she's in a better place now, and how he knows that God is going to get him and his kids through this. And he even said not to judge him when you see him, and he's going to be smiling because he knows that God is carrying him through. He knows this isn't the end. He knows her presence is still near. He knows that the time that he had with her, it was good. She was intentional. She taught their children how to pray. He referenced his kids giving him encouraging words and motivation, and referring to things that were taught to them by their mother, letting them know that like everything is going to be okay. Like, he was speaking very positively. He was encouraging people to get closer to God and really know their word. And Jackie was an amazing, phenomenal mother. She was an amazing person. She had a great heart. He wanted to have 7 kids with her, but they made it to 3. That's when he put in his joke. But I'm sure those moments of reminiscing, he's done all of that with his kids. And so for all the people that are out there worried and they're like, he's never going to be the same. What about his kids? Oh my gosh. It was his way of basically doing a eulogy that was bringing positivity and a way to move forward to everybody at the funeral. And I thought it was beautiful. He's always been somebody that was a believer in God, and he was strong in his faith. And people probably would have accepted it if he was like breaking down, and if he was crying, and if he was just losing it and lashing out on people and ignorant people coming at him and him just like going in for them. But like, you can't accept his faith. I think that is insane, but I commend him for it. I saw pictures of the celebration. He had a lot of like tribute pictures of her, as well as they released doves at the funeral at the end. And I thought it was beautiful. So shout out to DC Young Fly. I'm truly praying for him and his children. And social media, man, is a beast. But, you know, not even going to go there down that road with them. People will like want you to go crazy, but you know, when you just keep your cool, then they look like the crazy ones. Azalea Banks, she's looking like the crazy one. Okay. Yeah, moving right along. I need to get into something lighter, definitely. Kansas City. Yeah, apparently the rumors have been going around that the NBA will be receiving 2 expansion teams, and Kansas City is near the top of the list. So, as y'all know, if you've been to Kansas City, or, I mean, you've never heard of a basketball team from here, except for KU basketball, which is college basketball. We have to acknowledge that as our basketball team because we don't have an NBA team. So, if one comes here, yes, they'll be rolling in the money for Kansas City, and the city, like revenue, tax dollars will go through the roof. So I am always rooting for Kansas City. Yeah, could y'all imagine if we had a great NBA team and the Royals and the Chiefs and the Jayhawks? Yeah, we're just winning over here, all right? So anyways, now in national news, we do have an upcoming federal holiday. Yes, you heard me say a federal holiday. This coming Monday, June 19th, 2023 is Juneteenth. Yeah, what is Juneteenth? Now, y'all, be honest with me. Some of y'all listening are Black and y'all don't fully know what Juneteenth is. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, I know I didn't like fully know the history of it and where it came from, but the word Juneteenth actually comes from the words June and 19th. So that's where Juneteenth comes from. But if you remember, back in 2021, President Joe Biden signed a bill passed by Congress to set aside Juneteenth, which is June 19th, as a federal holiday. Now, a lot of employers have granted that as a paid day off. I thought to myself, so if it's a federal holiday, that should mean like everybody gets it off, right? No, that's not right. I had to correct myself because Martin Luther King Day is also a federal holiday. Some companies choose to acknowledge it as a paid day off and some don't. But that with it being a federal holiday, that means that the banks will be closed on that day. So that will be this upcoming Monday, the 19th, coming up. Now, just like a quick history of what Juneteenth is, because I do believe that is very important. Juneteenth actually started with enslaved people in Galveston, Texas. So shout out to all my Texans out there. I am reading this off of the news source from apnews.com, but it does say that Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves in 1863. It could not be enforced in many places in the South until the Civil War ended in 1865. Even then, some white people who had profited from their unpaid labor were reluctant to share the news, of course. According to Laura Smalley, which she was freed from a plantation near Belleville, Texas, she said in an interview in 1941 that the man she referred to as Old Master came home from fighting in the Civil War and didn't tell the people that he had enslaved what happened as far as the Emancipation Proclamation. She said, I think we worked for him an extra 6 months after he had arrived back home. He turned us loose on the 19th of June. So that's why we celebrate that day. Digging a little bit deeper into it, it says that news that the war had ended and that slaves were free finally reached Galveston when Union Major General Gordon Granger and his troops arrived in the city on June 19th, 1865. An order was delivered that the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection hereunto existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. So, slavery was permanently abolished 6 months after when Georgia ratified the 13th Amendment. And the next year, the now free people of Galveston started celebrating Juneteenth in observance that has continued around the world. So as those people started to leave out of Texas and relocate to different states, they continued those celebrations. And that is how the Juneteenth celebration started spreading before it became a major federal holiday. Now, this is very important because a lot of us Black people, we will barbecue on 4th of July, Independence Day. We will definitely take the day off, take it as a federal holiday. But truthfully, that was not our Independence Day. We were not free on that day, like being our ancestors. On July 4th, 1776, that's when Congress had unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence, announcing the colony separation from Great Britain. That day marks American independence, but not for the enslaved Americans. So, if that was in 1776, slaves were not free until 1865. Do the math. I think it's rather interesting, especially with Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, and then the talks of considering not including slavery in their history lessons, like as if they're erasing it from history. I don't believe that's going to be possible, because then kids will be very confused as to what Juneteenth is. If you let generations go by and you try to erase the stain that is on America, you can't erase the fact that happened. It happened. It was a part of history. Now, my only thing is include in our real true history as well. We were more than just slaves, okay? And we've been inventors. We were royalty kings and queens before we were tricked into slavery. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode for another day. But no, you cannot just erase the bad things that happened. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but I was one of those that went to a predominantly white school. And so every single time Black History Month comes around, they want to talk about slavery and everybody wants to look at me crazy. And now I think to myself as an adult, why were they looking at me crazy? Like I was going to bust out in tears and cry. Like they didn't feel it because those are my ancestors. They didn't feel any type of way about their ancestors, that they were like abusive and like did all types of inhumane acts. But you know, I digress. Anywho, yeah, I need to end on something positive for sure. So let me end off by saying power to the people. I love my Black people. Happy Juneteenth Day. Happy Freedom Day in advance. I love everybody, but I especially love my people, y'all. And we out here, okay? Keep shining, keep thriving, keep moving forward, and just like keep growing and blossoming, all right? Okay? Love the skin you're in. You're beautiful, and all your beautiful shades of brown, okay? Hashtag Black Girl Magic. Anywho, just to end the show with a quote of the day, which is very fitting for some of the topics we had to talk about in today's episode. But the quote is by Wayne W. Dyer. The quote is, "Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be." This has been another amazing episode of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. Please give me your feedback, your comments, your answers to today's questions in the episode. Hit me up on Instagram at SheIsTwinkle1. And until next time, I love you all. Peace out. Bye-bye.